Alam talaga sa akin, guys, yung talagang nagpapalakpakan talaga yung tao eh. Talagang believe na believe sila. I won't be surprised. The same people now sasabihin na, aba ba, di walang sinabi si tatay doon. Mga bias kayo, mga bias, bias. Sasabihin na naman nila. Mga self-proclaim analyst kayo. Ayan na naman tayo itong mga, ay nako, ay nako. Mga bias daw tayo, bias, bias. Mga self-proclaim. Ayan na naman tayo mga kameta eh. Actually, if you think about it, nakakatuwa siya. At siguro hindi lang kailangan ng drug test ngayon. Ibang test yata ang kailangan gawin natin ngayon. But I'll not go there. Baka medyo mahabang usapan yan. O pa-test nyo na yan kung kung okay pa. Anyway, no, guys. Ang akin lang, at the same time, nakakakilabot. Kasi, guys, think about it. We had this person as our president for 6 years. Naswerte na nga tayo, medyo pumalpak siya nung nung plano niya na ilagay si alam niyo na siyang gusto niya ilagay, hindi yung si Sara eh. Kaso walang traction yung isa, sumabla yung buong strategy, tuloy nanalo si BBM. Right? They ate their lunch and the lunchbox together, kaya galit si Digong. But, guys, imagine mo for 6 years, you had to bear with someone like that. Now, talagang, hindi lang poker face siya pang galit. Diba? May sasabihin siyang mali, or may sasabihin siyang incendiary, may sasabihin siya na totally out of this world, or may sasabihin siya na totally hindi sang-ayon dun sa atin, hindi tugma dun sa ating saligang batas, sa sobrang illegal or whatever. And then, pag pinoint out mo yan, dalawa lang sagot. Either sasabihin nila, ay, never nangyari. Wala akong sinabing ganyan. And kahit ano inyo, wala akong sinabing ganyan. Or sasabihin nila, hindi, taken out of context, taken out of, ayan tayo eh. Kaya nga ang point ko, it tells a lot about the quality of our democracy. Now, we allowed someone like this to get away with this style, no? Honestly, kaya nga sabi ko minsan, wala na. Hindi ko alam if this is just part of a congenial, let's just say, truth-shy politics, facts-shy politics, to put it mildly, or this is something else. I don't know. Probably it's both. So, nakakadismaya lang na we had this for 6 years. And hindi lang yun, ang taas pa ng approval ratings and all of that. So, what does that say about us as a country? Na okay lang tayo with a leader to just play with facts and fiction and mixture of fiction and reality and ganyan. I mean, harap-harapan niya sinabi, na-accuse na yung ating kasalukuyan ng presidente exactly a month ago. And then ngayon, siya pa yung galit. Ay, wala akong sinabing ganyan. Siya pang biktima. Diba? Siya pang biktima. I mean, that's what I'm saying, guys eh. Imagine a person like this was our commander-in-chief for 6 years. Diba? So, either, I mean, guys, honestly, dun sa 6 years na yan, ano yung lasting progress na nakita natin? Honestly, lasting progress. Pagdating sa bigas, number 1 na naman tayo importer of bigas. And to just blame BBM because BBM was 1 year, 2 year there, siya nga lang nag-iisip ng ganyan. You know, yung problema natin sa rice and all, matagal na yan, pero may 6 years si Digong. So, anong improvement ton? Yung issue sa, I mean, I can go on, education crisis natin. May 6 years si Digong, may 2 years pa yung anak niya ngayon. After 8 years, kulelat na naman ang Pilipinas sa education standards. Alright? Ayan, I can go on and on about it. Look at our foreign relations. 6 years. Nangako siya na ang China mag-invest ng $24 billion. Ayan, asan na? Yung nakita ko lang investment ng China, guys, yung bridge sa may Rockwell na ganito, guys, ang laki ng bridge, pero two-way lang yung papasok doon. Parang kukunti yung papasok, pag nandun ka na sa bridge, ang luwang na, and then papasok ka na naman doon sa, like, I mean, my goodness, horror. I mean, di ba? At ang tagal-tagal yung paggawa ng bridge niyan. Purong mga Chinese din yata, mga workers, contractors. Parang sila lang yata kumita dyan eh. Ang traffic nung area niyan ng tagal-tagal. Tapos yun lang mangyari sa bridge niyan na pang ginawa lang pang pang picture-picture selfie ng tao. Syempre maganda kasi Rockwell area pagdating sa December and holidays, di ba? Lighting and all, di ba? And, I mean, essentially, Dolomite populism. Yung Dolomite Beach na ginawa ni Digong, ay yun po ay yung isa itong metaphor sa kanyang style of governance. And just like the Dolomite Beach, napaka-popular si Digong. I mean, Dolomite Beach, napaka-popular. O anong nangyayari sa Dolomite ngayon? Ha? Kamusta ng Dolomite? Makanang ginastos natin? Yung hundreds of millions of pesos na ginastos natin doon, kung sana nilagay natin into something more scientifically evidence-based back public policy, di sana may nagawa pa tayo. Ang dami natin eskwela, sana ginawa doon sa ginastos natin sa Dolomite Beach na yan. Right? And good luck naman doon sa mga nag-swimming dyan sa may Dolomite area, magpa-toxicology na kayo. Lalo yung mga foreigners dyan, na nakita ko nagpi-picture-picture, yung mga may mga Europeans doon na nakano, yan pa-toxicology nyo naman. Pwede naman yung toxicology kahit buhay ka pa, di ba? Hindi naman kailangan sa lang, forensics yan, di ba? So, yun ang sinasabi ko, Dolomite populism. At yung sa issue ng droga, ilan ang nahuli? Kamusta si Peter? Ayan, pangalanan natin yung mga big fish talaga na wala naman, happy naman pa rin sila, di ba? Ang mga nawala lang naman diyan yung mga small timers eh. At yung pa yung mga hindi inosente. Imagine ang dami mga totally walang ginawa, nadamay lang sila, kinota lang sila, Lakian de los Santos. The whole thing. Ayan, formally pa. Totoo yan, yung mga formally, ba't di na natin pinag-usapan? Sarap. Guys, daming Lamborghini dyan sa ubusan ng Lamborghini. Yan. Talagang yan ang sinasabi ko, guys eh. Na Dolomite talaga tayo eh. Yung buong natin na Dolomite lang talaga. Tapos yung Chinese investment, purong Pogo lang pumasok. At alam natin yung Pogo na yan, wala naman ang puntang hindi naman magbabayad ng buwis yata yung mga iba dyan. Ibang buwisit lang yata nangyari, hindi buwis eh. So, I can go on and on about it, diba? So, please lang, don't throw me these popularity numbers. Well, guess what? Saddam Hussein had a 90% popularity. Kim Jong-un has a 99% popularity. Putin has an 86-90% popularity. So what? Yeah, they're disasters for their country. Right? Hindi ito popularity contest. This is about competence, compassion, and governance, modern governance. Hindi 14th century medieval tyrant, diba? So, I can go on and on about it. Pero yun nga, nakakalungkot. Actually, kung isipin mo, for 6 years, we had a person like this na in the full glory of daylight, right? May sinabi siya, and then 1 month later, totally i-deny niya na sinabi niya. The whole world saw it, and i-deny niya without any fear of accountability, without any fear of being corrected. So, this tells you, Karen tong tao na to. Karen, di ba? Karen, or ano bang Darren? Pag lalaki ba, Darren? Kasi nung sabi ko, Kevin or Ken, wag Ken, kasi Barbie yun. Yung Kevin ang gusto ko, Kevin. Etong Karen na to, yun ganun na mga Karen eh. May mali silang ginagawa, they get away with it, ang dami nagdi-defend sa kanila, and then sila pa yung galit when you point things out, and they have totally no sense of, wala, bakit? Tawagan yung manager, bakit? Gaganon, di ba? Yun ang sinasabi ko, guys eh. Kaya tama si Rizal eh. Walang Karen kung walang depensa sa mga Karen. Alright? Di ba alam niyo yung quote na yan, di ba? Yung exact quote yan kay Rizal. Walang Karen sa mundo kung walang nagpapa-Karen. Okay? Problema sa atin, hindi lang tayo nagpapa-Karen sa mga Karen. Dinidefend pa natin mga Karen. Tapos yung mga Karen, may Harry pa. Yung Harry, nagdi-defend kay Karen. Tapos yung Harry, sasabihin niya, don't violate yung human rights ni Karen. Yan, tayo pang masama. So yan sinasabi ko, guys. Kaya nga tayo fourth world country. Okay? Hindi tayo third world, fourth world tayo. Ang third world po, Vietnam. Medyo fourth world na tayo. Kasi nga ganyan ang ugali natin, guys. Ganyan ang ugali natin. We allow our tapos and politicos and populists and all to get away with so much. With all of this mumbo-jumbo. I mean, just the temerity. Right? Buong mundo kinote yung drug suspect. Hindi lang yun, minura-mura pa and all of that. Nag-call on the military pa siya and all of that. And then bigla, hindi lang walk back to eh. Iba yung walk back eh. Ito talagang acrobatic na to eh. And totally no sense of shame or anything. So, this tells you there's something really wrong with our democracy and our political system. Honestly talaga, guys. Honestly, there's really something wrong. And yan, yeah, correct. I didn't even go dun sa mga blasphemous na sinabi niya. Diyos ko, yung mga sinabi niya ukol sa Pope, sinabi niya sa ating, I don't want to even say it. I mean, my goodness, blasphemous. And then may mga religious groups tayo and all of that backing him up. My goodness. Diba? Oh. Kamusta naman si Kibuloy? Ano update dyan kay Kibuloy? Oh, diba? Oh. Tapos nung tinanong siya about Kibuloy and guns, pinagtawanan na lang niya. Ay, ako bigyan ko na lang ng machine gun and canyon. And then, wala na. Tapos na-deflect na yung topic. So, that's my problem eh. We allow the Karens and Trapos and all to get away with things for so long na, honestly, binabastos lang tayo eh. I mean, for them to feel so relaxed and just do it whatever way they want without any respect for facts, reality, na siguro kami, naalala naman namin siguro ng content nung sinabi mo ng isang araw. Wala, totally no respect. Total no respect for our system, for our people. Ako naman, guys, ito lang sasabihin ko. Naintindihan ko yung frustration natin sa political system natin. Okay? Naintindihan ko yung frustration natin sa political leadership natin. Pero sana naman, respetuhin mo yung taong bayan. Diba? Hindi ko yun na lang at least ang gagawin mo. And yun ang hindi ko nakikita eh. There's no absolute respect whatsoever sa taong bayan. Because, kitang-kita naman natin eh. Diba? And this has been, so for me, what this latest episode of totally, wala akong sinabing drug addict. Hello! Diba? That just tells you, what we're willing to put up with. That just tells you what kind of immature system we have. That tells you what kind of problematic political culture we have. Honestly, guys, may problema talaga tayo dyan. It's a value system issue. It's a political passivity issue. Hindi naman gagawin ng mga trapo and politikos yan kung hindi natin pinapayagan eh. Ulitin natin ang sinabi ni Rizal dun sa third novel na yan. Kasi yung second novel, No Tyrants If No Slaves. Pero meron siyang dapat pangatlo, there are no Karens kung walang nagpapakaren. Alright? Or there's no Karen if there's no Harry to defend the Karen. Okay? Honestly, guys, bumaba tuloy yung chair ko. Kailangan natin bumili din ng bagong chair yata. Wala na, bumibigay na. Hindi, okay pa to. Bumibigay. Hindi, yun yung sinasabi ko, guys eh. And let me be absolutely clear. Just in case, I hope hindi magkakaroon ng misunderstanding dito. This is not about being personal about anyone. If you remember, I criticized every single candidate in 2022 elections, including the opposition. I criticized the opposition. How many times? Kaya ang dami mga haters and bashers natin sa Twitter. Except, saan sila ngayon? Di ba? Again, sorry. My point is, di ba? My point is, I hope people understand when we make these commentaries and all, ito ay galing talaga galing dito at saka galing dito. Pinag-iisipan natin, pero galing din sa konsyensya natin. Galing sa mga conviction natin yan eh. And kaya nga sabi ko, kahit ganyan lang walang production level yung mga mga vlogs natin, podcast natin, kahit yung isang camera natin luma na, kailangan na natin palitan, kahit ganyan na lang mga earphones natin na scotch tape. Alright? Thank God, nakikita ko na appreciate na ibang tao. Kaya kahapon, I was surprised nga, nag-check lang ako doon sa mga analytics ng podcast. Yung pala, yung mga grupo sa Australia, mga others, binibigyan na tayo ng 5-star and all this. I really appreciate it. Actually, I'm surprised. Dahil, nag-English naman tayo, guys, pero hindi naman consistent English, Ang description sa atin, guys, is comedy sandwich edutainment. Okay? Educational entertainment. Alright? So, I'm really touched by this. Ito by Heads and Tails Stories. Alright? Via Apple Podcast Australia. Alright? So, last month lang ito. Hindi, February pala. Earlier this month lang pala to. Entertaining, balanced, and educated view on all things geopolitics. A worthy listen to anyone who wants in-depth analysis about the latest Philippine news. Richard Haydaran gives an alternative to the dry, traditional analysis and hyper-emotional vlogs. Yes, sometimes we get emotional and all of that, but I don't try to overdo it. Yes, we try to use comedy, so I'm glad they appreciate it. I'm glad na nakikita ng ibang tao. At least, if you're not here, at least sa labas, nakikita nila guys itong how we talk about geopolitics around the world, but also about Philippine politics. And yeah, as far as possible, I don't want to be traditional about this. But let me say one thing. Hindi lang tayo hindi hyper-emotional, katulad ng ibang vloggers. But I know some are gonna hate me for saying this. But after the elections, I was the... You know how much I risk when I criticize the opposition and all of that, and you know how many people turned on me for doing that, and I did that because I wanted us to move forward, not to just be bitter and angry and parang retroactive and retrogressive, and you know, ayoko ng ganon. So I took a lot of risks by criticizing almost all sides. Almost, because there are mga sides na not even worth commenting on, di ba? I mean, I'm not gonna name names, but parang wag na. But we criticize all sides, and you know, we got bashed for that, we got attacked for that, but you know, that never dissuaded me. So what kung na-bash tayo ng mga kulto na ibang tao? So guys, I appreciate what we're doing here in this podcast, because even if alam ko halos lahat kayo in one way or another, there was a time na nainis kayo sa akin dahil nayabangan kayo or dahil hindi nyo gusto yung sinasabi natin. I'm glad, because what we're doing here, guys, is not partisan analysis. Alright? I'll be honest, ang dali magpalaki ng following kung partisan ka. Pumili ka lang ng isang malaking grupo, and then wala kang ginawa kundi bigyan mo sila ng vitamins every day. Fanaticism vitamins. Right? And it can be any group. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna name names, but there are people out there who are trying to present themselves as completely objective, etc. But clearly, I never saw them really criticize one side. As in, halos wala. Until 1 year, 2 years na later on, when kami, ako, Liamas, and all of us already did the criticism and got bashed for it. Alright? That's not objectivity to me. That's pa-safe. Alright? So marami dyan, ang lakas magbanat ng ibang grupo, tapos sobrang pa-safe dun sa side nila. Tayo, na-criticize natin lahat. Alright? Live pa nga na nababash tayo ng different groups eh. Alright? Nagkamali-mali pa nga ako. Ito, wait lang. Ito si Oliver Block natin. Ayan. Block. Yan. Sabi ko konting bastos lang, tanggal kayo dyan. Alright? Madali na mag-block ngayon eh. Live. Tik-tik. Tatapos na usapan. Ganun lang. Ganda ng mga platforms ngayon, guys eh. Mabilisan lang, pwede mo yan. So that's what I'm saying, guys. And please lang, yung mga nagsasabi sa akin na, wag mo na pansinin yung mga na like, put yourself in my shoes, get bashed by tens of thousands of people for 6, 7, 8 years. Obviously, you guys haven't been through that. And then get back to me. But you know what I'm very proud of, guys, is dahil palaban tayo, dahil aggressively we guarded our spaces. In many ways, guys, alam natin na safe space itong platforms natin. Hindi ko pa alam ng content dito sa mga ayan, etong mga TikTok na, block na naman natin. Ay, bakit na-follow? I-block na kita. Medyo TikTok nililinis ko pa, pero at least, dito sa mga ibang platforms, good luck sa mga trolls dito, diba? Good luck sa inyo. But we have to fight for that, guys. We have to fight for that. And including mga dilawan trolls, mga kunyaring pink trolls, mga ganyan. We have to get rid of all of those people. Alright? Because I have no problem you criticizing me. But kung nag-hater ka lang dyan and you're just spreading poison, good luck na lang sa'yo. Now, speaking of hater, spreading poison, spreading fallacies, pag-usapan natin itong latest ruling by the Philippine Supreme Court, guys. So, meron na tayong ruling dito. Ilabas na natin. Saan tayo napunta? Ito. Okay. Meron na pong ruling from the Philippine Supreme Court. So, the Supreme Court of Philippines, guys, speaking of Supreme Court, guys, kakapost ko lang yung Supreme Court ng United States. By the way, none of my pictures are endorsements of United States institutions. I'm sorry. Sobrang sabog yung politika nila doon. And hindi lang yung sa kongreso nila, yung latest ruling nila ngayon sa US Supreme Court that they're willing to even entertain yung immunity ni Trump. Surprise, surprise! Ang dami dyan na Supreme Court judges sa US ay mga conservatives, ay tatlo at least I think, or apat ay appointee pa ni Trump, di ba? But anyway, so yun lang natuwa lang ako sa architecture. Alright? I'm a big fan of anything Greco-Roman. Alright? But not only Greco-Roman. I love a lot of things. I I like Chinese civilization, I like Indian civilization, I like Middle Eastern civilization, but I love Greco-Roman. So yun lang. But anyway, speaking of our own Supreme Court, hindi ganun kaganda yung building nila compared dun sa US Supreme Court, to put it nicely. Actually, yun ang frustration ko eh. Sana yun ang nakuha natin sa mga Amerikana at saka Espanyol. At least yung gandaan natin yung mga government buildings, at least yung national government building natin, guys. Kaya tuloy, nasusunog na lang yung ganito, yung postal office, hindi natin mini-maintain. Paano naman natin narespetuhin yung ating gobyerno kung yung buildings pa lang ay mukhang kawawa? Di ba yung mga courts natin, kung nakapunta kayo sa mga courts natin, parang, ewan ko talaga. Di ba? Tapos ang ganda ng mga malls natin, air condition, yung mga ganyan. Kaya sabi ko sana nag-invest din tayo dun sa glory and glamour of our government institutions para tumaas ang respeto ng tao sa ating mga government institutions. I really felt that, for instance, when I gave a talk dun sa yung sa museo natin, yung dating Senado natin. I had a talk there with the Philippines-Spain event yon. So nag-talk ako about Rizal and all of that. Ang ganda nun, this is the old Philippine Senate. So you could feel the glory, the glamour. Tignan mo yung mga senador natin nun. Diyos ko naman, napakagaling nila. I mean, medyo, let me be honest. Medyo confident ako sa sarili ko when it comes to, speaking all of that. But my goodness, I can imagine, if I were there in the Philippine Senate in the 1920s and 30s, in fact, all the way to, 1950s and 60s, hindi naman intimidated, pero medyo mapaganan ako lang. Okay, alright. Diba? Okay, alright. Pero ngayon, Senado natin, parang, mag-humor na lang tayo, mag-sandwich. Anong review ulit sa akin? Ng mga Australian group na comedy sandwich edutainment. Okay. I'll take it as long as 5-star. Alright. Thank you so much. Guys, by the way, support naman kayo dyan sa Apple Podcast. Support naman kayo dyan. I think kailangan natin ng mga 20 above 5 stars para lumabas ng konti. Yung Spotify natin, okay na. Medyo big na tayo. Don't thank God. Pero yung Apple Podcast, guys, please. Alright. Anyway, balikan natin ito. So, ito guys, the Philippine Supreme Court has found Badoy Partosa, former spokesperson of the government's anti-insurgency task force, NTF-LCAC, guilty of indirect. Sorry guys, kasi, okay, I know kasi andyan pa rin yung ek na task force na yan. At no offense, all due respect kay yung mga kaibigan natin dyan. Yes. Sir Yusek, Yusek Malaya, baka naman magalit kayo dyan. Alam ko love na yung na yan. Inayos naman daw, pinurge naman daw yung mga alam niyo na. Pero still, napa-ek-ek talaga ako pag mga LCAC, ek-ek. Okay, ito. This is in relation dun sa REDTAGGing of a Manila Regional Trial Court judge. Yung isang taon pa yan, guys. So, in a 51-page ruling, ito po ay page by Baguio Boy! Load yan. Associate Justice Marvic Leonen. Yan. Load yan. The best ito si Justice Leonen, guys. Na-follow niyo ba yung Twitter niya? Actually, check niyo yung Twitter niya. Puro mga hugot nandun. Nakakatawa yung mga hugot niya, actually. I find, he's very smart, actually. He's very smart. I'm matalino. Baguio diba? Alam mo naman. Baguio people. Ito. So if you read the 51 page, actually, magaling magsulat ito. Mahusay. And, I think soon he's gonna be the Supreme Court Chief Justice, and possibly he'll go down as one of the greatest, or at least most eloquent, Chief Justices in Philippine history. And as a Baguio boy, I'm proud to say that at least one of us made it there to the highest court of the country. But anyway, Badoy was ordered to pay a fine of 30,000. Sana naman, di ba? Parang, okay. Nainisip ko tong 30,000 kasi 'di ba yung kaibigan natin si Atom, 'di ba? Because of yung mga REDTAGGing na ginawa ni Badoy dun sa mommy niya. I think kinasuhan niya ng 2 million ba or something like that. So, I don't know. I mean, let's see how things go. So, I'm paying attention dito, hindi lang dahil Ilocano ako, pero parang 30,000. But okay, it's not just the money, right? It's what it represents, no? And warned against repeating itong similar acts in the future, or she would be facing even more severe punishment. So when itong National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, NTF-LCAC. Okay. Ito kasi, nung sinabi na before na yung MTC, RTC, Regional Trial Court Manila Judge si Marlo Magdoza Malagar, dun sa September 2024 na pala, no? Nung September 2022, inattack niya itong RTC na ito. Her attacks came after itong judge na ito, si Magdoza Malagar, dismiss yung government's proscription case that sought to declare yung Communist Party of the Philippines at saka yung NPA as a terrorist organization. So, in fairness, I understand na very invested ang NTF-ELCAC, at least under the previous regime, in terms of essentially institutionalizing it in a judicial way, itong terrorist tagging for the NPA, no? So in response, si Badoy called the RTC court, quote, an idiot judge who allegedly was lawyering for the enemies of the state. She even made the hypothetical, this is the bad part kasi. And then meron pa siyang sinabi na something like, hypothetically, paano kung pinatay ito or something like that, guys. So, yun yung medyo crazy yung ginawa niya. So, hindi lang yung idiot na gano'n, yung Tatay Digong style na idiot, gano'n. Hindi medyo may threat Pero kasi later on, nagbeg siya the judge for leniency because she did it out of her political beliefs daw. And the post was later deleted and denied. So, I think yun yung naging, I don't know, attenuating, or ito yung mga medyo nagpalambot ng response ng Supreme Court. So siguro kung hindi siya nag-apologize at hindi niya dinelete ito, medyo ibang usapan na yan. Or if God forbid, something bad really happened to the judge or there was some serious threat against the judge, then siguro it would have been different, diba? So in another post, Badoy asked why Mendoza was so well-versed about the constitution of the CPP-NPA that only members know. She also mentioned human rights lawyers, sila Edra Olalia, si Maria Sol Taule, at saka si Rachel Pastores, asking if they were the ones who wrote the judge's decision. So medyo bastos, di ba? Medyo bastos. Oh, bakit? Parang alam mo yan, yung mga ganyan style, di ba? For her vitriolic statements and so ito yung sinabi ng Supreme Court. Sabi niya, for her vitriolic statements and outright threats against Judge Magdoza Malagar and the judiciary, respondents found guilty of indirect contempt and is fined 30,000 with a warning that repeating the same or similar acts will lead to a more severe penalty. So it is more like a shot across the bow, diba? Than a serious kind of I would say kasi I think some people are expecting something more significant, all right? But anyway, I think in many ways at least this sets a tone, no? And in many ways it also, it's a warning also dun sa mga iba in the future, yung mga mala DDS style na umayos-ayos kayo dyan, diba? And you cannot just go out there and do whatever you want. Yun ang sabi ko when you have 6 years of a president, quote-unquote president na ganon, ang problema is hindi lang yung presidente mo yung ganon ang dami yung mga muchacha niya na nakiki-Duterte style or inabuso. So that's what I always say. When you have a authoritarian populist in power, it's not only what the authoritarian populist person does. It's the permission structure. It's the normalization of horrible behavior. It's a normalization of sometimes even criminal behavior, right? Yun yung nakakatakot when authoritarian populist leaders win. Kasi gets ko yung argument na sinasabi, no, you need these populist leaders once in a while kasi they shock us into, out of our complacency. They inject a sense of urgency into our democratic conscience. They force us to mobilize yung tinatawag na accelerator model, diba? So you have sometimes some supposedly smart people, making that argument that we need the Trump or Duterte, blah, blah, blah. But the problem is what the people do not understand. Even if these people are not there forever, 4 years in the case of Trump, but who knows, he may come back. 6 years in the case of Digong, they create a whole culture. And not to mention, guys, someone is mentioning about 30,000 pesos na hindi daw ganun kalaki. Well, dahil siguro wala na yung SMNI at wala na siguro yung mga consultancy fee na malaki. Mahal yung consultancy fee daw ni Jay Sonza. Diyos ko. Kung si Sonza nga, ganun ng consultancy, imagine mo kung yung iba dyan, diba? Anyway, imagine the 30,000 alleged EJ case and people were killed. So to say na, di, kailangan lang talaga na dumaan tayo sa ganun para ngayon mas seryoso natin ang democracy. Well, it's easy for you to say that. But imagine all of those people who suffered, and some people suffered, irrevocably. Diba? Wala na, pinatay na yung pamilya and all of that dun sa drug war na, kunyaring drug war na yan, diba? So, yun yung nakaka-frustrate dito, guys. Now, speaking of frustration, let's also talk about international issues because as the review of our podcast went, sabi nila, anything geopolitics. Ano sabi nila ulit? Oy guys, hindi ko inaano yan ha. Entertaining worthy listen to anyone who wants in-depth analysis about, hindi. The entertaining, balanced, and educative view on all things geopolitics. Okay. Panindigan natin itong mga reviews natin. Alright guys. So ito let's do this. By the way guys, kausap ko lang kanina si Kristan kasi na-trigger yata yung mga Bitcoin friends natin dun sa mga comments ko, diba? Kasi I posted something about, I said, when you look at Bitcoin, dahil wala siyang intrinsic value in terms of, hindi siya peg sa gold, and at the same time, it's not backed by a sovereign state that can raise taxes, so it doesn't really, so it really needs for more people to come in for it to have more value. Kaya yung mga tao na maraming may Bitcoin, alright, may interest sila na bumili din kayo ng Bitcoin kasi aakyat din yung value ng Bitcoin nila. Kasi the value of Bitcoin depends on how many people buy in. The more people buy into it, the more value it will have. Right? Ganun kasimple lang yan. Anyway, so I'm discussing with Kristan, probably we'll have an episode or two soon, God willing, about Bitcoins and also catch up with him on things about opposition and all because interesting person siya. But before going there, let me go to the last part kasi panindigan natin itong geopolitics na ito. So, interestingly, yung minamahal natin na Pangulo, our very hardworking President, na sobrang mabait, na hinahayan lang si Digong na gawin niya kung anong gusto niya. Yay. Okay, nasan na yung OBS? Okay, ito. Ito guys,